Our scanners indicate that the Daleks has been adapted into a movie called Doctor Who and the Daleks. Then we will explode a neutron bomb, in which case the humans will not be allowed to see much else after seeing Doctor Who and the Daleks. It will be our greatest final victory. But what if we need to have a sequel or sequels? There will only be one. There will not be any more. Not even any more Doctor Who movies. Only a TV movie that failed to relaunch the show in the mid-90s. Anything else has yet to be made or has failed to be made. What about the K9 Time Lash movie? Sorry, not Time Lash, Time Quake. I do not know, but as it does not contain the Daleks, it can go get cancelled, panned, or bombed as far as I am concerned. And that's bombed as in bombs at the box office. Which it probably will, if it ever gets made. In that case, let us explode this neutronic bomb if there is no more Doctor Who movies after the second Dalek film, excluding the TV movie, and potentially, if it actually has happened, the K9 movie. But then again, like I said, that might not actually happen again, well, at all. It seems to be gone the same way as Doctor Who Scratchman, which is getting a book release soon. Yay! I didn't know you were so passionate about this. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my review of Doctor Who and the Daleks, which is this film. We'll be doing Daleks Invasion Earth 2150 AD when we've done Doctor Who Season 3. And we'll also do the Dalek Mania documentary after we've done the 10th Planet. So when we'll be wrapping up the William Hartnell era, we'll also wrap up Peter Cushing's movies alongside it. So, the plot of Doctor Who and the Daleks is pretty much the Daleks again, but this time featuring a human called Doctor Who, with his granddaughters Barbara and Susan, although Barbara looks old enough to be his daughter rather than his granddaughter. But, yeah, they could have just said that she was his daughter and Susan was her daughter, and Ian was a potential candidate for stepfather. Slash stepson. So, I mean, that would have been interesting as some more family dynamic thing. But, oh well. Anyway, so just changing the main characters a little bit, and the fact that the Daleks are looking a bit different. Well, actually, no, they do. They look, they're blue and silver, just like they originally intended. But we've also got a red one and a black one as well, with bits of gold. That's really cool. I don't know why they're grey on the cover though. I think that's just a grey design. The next film will have a yellow one, and they'll have the slats so they don't have to worry about the saucer on the back of them, like in Invasion Earth. Is it Dalek Invasion of Earth? So the plot pretty much follows the same thing as the Daleks, but at a quicker, brisker pace, and gets to the point a bit quicker. That is one thing I'll say about it. Although it is quicker and faster than the Daleks, and it does cut out some of the slowing down things, like a Far guy talking to a Far woman about how he shouldn't have let his emotions get to him. I think that was in part 5, I think, of that story. And the escape takes a bit is quicker to go. Gets out, and by the time Susan meets Elodin, I think is Elodin, it's about 27-28 minutes into the movie, whilst in the actual story it's about 2 or 3 episodes in. So it's definitely going faster. But that being said, the faster pace does mean there isn't that much time to breathe. In some places, it gets from one place to another quicker Also, how the Daleks missed Susan sneaking that pen into her pocket to help escape is... I don't know how they didn't notice that. Maybe they were distracted by the ward. Yeah, I think it's a bit too fast-paced to start with, and also quite a bit of the history of Dalek and File history and mythology is missed out or skimmed over, just so we can have the faster-paced story. I think the film should have been extended to, I think it's about 82 minutes. It's maybe not even that, might be 70. I think it was 79 when I played it. So it's about 79, 80, 81 minutes long, whilst the Daleks itself is about 2 3/4 hours. Heck, might even be nearly 3 hours. Come to think of it, I think, yeah, almost 3 hours. So this film is about half as long, almost. So I think it could have been extended a few more minutes, maybe to get up to 85 to 90, like the TV movie. I think it should have been 85 to 90 minutes, and I would say the same for the second film. But I think the second film handled its one a bit better. With that one, it was only incorporating a 2.5-hour story into about 84 minutes, and that one's just slightly over this one. But that one also adds a few more new things than this one. This one, it just both they have to have a couple of minutes of new stuff. In this case, it's the stuff at the start and the end with the family, and in the next film, it's with Tom, the policeman, trying to stop some burglars, some robbers. But more on that in the next film. So I do think the pacing, certainly for this film, is a bit faster. But at some points, it doesn't feel like that's not necessarily a good thing. And some cases, I think some bits were skipped or they skip over them. There might even be some deleted scenes that could have helped, like the Doctor and Susan being captured. I think we should have had something more closer to the TV story version, because in this film we see them staggering down the rocks with the rest of the files, and then next time we see them, they're prisoners of the Daleks, but none of the other files are there, nor do they mention any more deaths. We only see one file killed on screen, which is something lots of people complained about, despite really liking this film back when it came out. This was rectified for the second film, of course, being Dalek Invasion of Earth. Lots more people died, including a really creative version of a death I thought was really poor in the original. But I do think this film is really good. I think another problem I've got is the dubbing of the voices. The voices sound good for the most part, but the dubbing isn't that great. When it's trying to lining up with some of the characters, I mean, it gets there with a couple of them, but when it certainly, I think it lines up with Peter Cushing really well on some of the files. But when it comes to the other companions and maybe some of the other files, it doesn't quite line up. Also, why did the Daleks' lights always flash? Is it so that they don't have to worry about lining up their lines in the final film? But I'm sure it's okay. I'm sure it'll be okay. They're okay to do it with the TV series most of the time. Although sometimes the lights don't flash or flash too long for those. This is why you need the voice modulator on set to actually do the lines, so you can have the lights flashing and the actors know what they're working with. This is something the new series would relish in. So, maybe that was a problem, but I don't think they did do it with the first Dalek story. If Adventure in Space and Time is true around that point, it did have a little creative differences, but still. I didn't mention the Dalek films, by the way, that docudrama. It never mentions the Dalek films, what everybody at the BBC thought about it, what William Hartnell would have thought about him not being the only Doctor Who. If that's if they had any opinions at all. But then, by that point, they were focusing on Hartnell and more so in that. Back to this. Positives. I love the cinematography. The cinematography is beautiful and the sets look great. It's so colourful. I love the colours. I even like the Daleks getting their own ranks, like in the later TV stories, how one of them is the black leader Dalek and the red one his second in command, and then the rest are the blue and silver ones. And in the next story, we've also got the yellow one, who's the gold one, who's kind of like in command. The black Dalek is probably the boss, and the yellow one is also there, and the red one is the source of command in a way. I'm also okay with the kind of claw things that the Daleks have in this, although I always prefer the plungers. I do like the claws that they use sometimes. And pretty effective attachments. I think more of them should have had plungers, but never mind. I'm glad the black Dalek did. In this version, I think in the film version he doesn't. I think it's only the yellow one and a couple blue. And some of the blue ones. I think the black one has a claw. I might be wrong. The red one, I think, does. The music is great. I really like the score, and the electronic music by Barry Gray is great. I think Malcolm Lockwood does this one's score. Different composer for the next one, although Barry Gray does the electric music. But it's brilliant. I think the second film's music is better, certainly in the opening titles, but Malcolm Lockwood does a really good score here as well, and it really fits with the story, as does the other composer on the next film. And Barry Gray's electronics are really good as well. Also, I think the end's a bit fast. It's a really fun, enjoyable, fast-paced action battle scene, but it does do it very quickly. I think there could have been a bit more tension, maybe. Maybe that one of the Daleks could beg the Doctor to save them, but in the end, the Doctor says, "I can't," and then the Dalek just dies, like it did in the original. But then again, in this one's case, they blew themselves up in a way, as opposed to draining the power. That might have happened. The Daleks actually accidentally drained their own power in the story, but in this case, they definitely blew themselves up. Also, the trailer kind of ruins that bit. Strange enough, when they're doing their countdown, they have a massive jump from the late 90s to the early 60s. It's like they're in 99, 87-ish, and then they get to 62, 61 in no time at all, and then the remainder of the countdown is slow, but more is happening. There's a lot more going on. So either they waited a while between the 90s and 60s, or well, that's my only explanation. It took a while for the files to get ready, whilst Ian Barber and some of the other files were doing some stuff around the back. And then, like I mentioned, the fast-paced climax, it's sped up a bit, and that's why you can see more of the countdown there. Ends on a 3, so that's really cool. 3, lucky number. Fun fact, the bomb in Goldfinger was also supposed to end on the number 3 and have it 003, but it was changed to 007 to tie in with the character, and therefore a continuity error comes along when Bond says 3 more ticks and Mr. Goldfinger would have hit the jackpot, as opposed to 7 ticks. It also the timer there also slows down, so you can see 10, 9, 8, and then it ends on 7. Whilst in real time, it probably would have made its way down to 4 or 3 by then, and by the time the switch was clicked. So some shots may have been edited out just for that. Anyway, so that's Doctor Who and the Daleks. So yeah, it's a great film. It's a great adaptation. I think I would even prefer it to the actual story. However, there are elements that the actual story did better, and it took its time. It might have taken too much time to tell the story, but it did take its time to explain certain bits, like the history and the backstory, and it slowed down when it needed to. But I do think, if you want a condensed version of the story, this is a really great execution, and it looks absolutely brilliant. And yeah, it's much better than the Marco Polo reconstruction that we've got on the Edge of Destruction DVD. They have to edit down 7 episodes of about 25 minutes each, roughly, into half-hour reconstruction. So that's about I calculated that's about 4 and a bit minutes per episode to have audio and pictures from. That's barely enough time for a 7-part story. An hour might have worked, but they have to condense something that's almost 3 hours into half an hour, nearly a sixth of the time. Whilst this is not
complete remake. This version is a bit more of a better condensed story into making it into just under half as long, but they've rewritten it to fit the time length and the new story, and also the stuff that's added at the start and end and changed around the middle. So this one definitely works better as a condensed version of the Daleks than the Marco Polo reconstruction did of that story, because as well as giving it more time, it's also a complete rewrite. So yeah, the Doctor in the Daleks, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It looks beautiful. It's visually stunning. The acting is great, by the way. I think Peter Cushing does a really good job. I even like the costume, although those colours might not be the most tasteful. I mean, Colin Baker's coat looked nicer. I think the clothes are good, but I think they should have been different colours. It's a description I heard from Phoenix Smith in his Five Who Fans review when he's being the Old Times reviewer. He described it as farting Colonel Mustard. And yeah, it's a very mustardy brown. I think it should have been a different colour, but I do think the clothes themselves are nice. It's just that they should be a different colour. It's the same with Colin Baker's coat, although personally I do love that coat. I think it's very nice, and I can see why lots of people have a problem with it, because it's too colourful. Maybe if it was just red, maybe a bit of yellow on the lapels, not a Technicolor Dreamcoat, just plain red and a bit of yellow. I can see why lots of people prefer his blue coat in real time. But anyway, but I do think Cushing's costume is nice. It's just that I think they should have gone with a different colour. I can see why they wouldn't want to go with black, because William Hartnell was wearing black at the time, and they didn't want to. They wanted to be bright colours. We wanted to see even black and white. We wanted to see black and white brightly, as opposed to the greyness we saw on the TV screens, because this was the cinema. You got to see Daleks on the big screen in colour, in all of its glory. Daleks in colour for the first time, well, certainly on screen. I mean, you've got some of the comic books and annuals would have had them in colour, maybe. But on screen, this story beats, this film and Daleks Invasion of Earth 2150 AD beats the TV series of getting Daleks in colour on screen by about 7 years. With the first time the Daleks are in colour in the show is Day of the Daleks in 1972, which is their first time after a 5-year gap, 5-year break. So until then, you've got these two films to deal with, to enjoy looking at, and they are really good films, and this is definitely very good. But I do think, and this is before rewatching it again for its review, I do think the second film is even better. But to be fair, I think the Dalek Invasion of Earth is better than the Daleks anyway, so I think the film that's based on the better of the two stories is going to be the better of the two films. And if there was a third film for The Chase, I wouldn't be surprised if that film would have been even better, for me personally, because I consider The Chase even better than the other two stories. So if there was a Chase film, then I wouldn't be surprised if that film was even better than these two. Sadly, we're never going to get a Chase movie. Well, we definitely haven't yet. I don't think there's any plans to do any more Dalek movies unless they're in the canon of the series, in which case that's more for a Doctor Who movie, but we'll see. So, well, we'll have to put up with these two great films. So that's Doctor Who and the Daleks, and I'll be doing Daleks Invasion Earth 2150 AD, the second film, as I mentioned, after Season 3 is finished. So, we've just got to do Season 3 first, and then we're on to Daleks Invasion Earth 2150 AD. So the next review will be the start of Season 3, which will be Galaxy 4, which sadly doesn't have its own DVD release, but a reconstruction of the story with the surviving episode 3 is on the Aztecs. Although it's not this reconstruction I've watched for the review. It's the full-length reconstructions of episodes 1, 2 and 4. This release contains a condensed version of episodes 1, 2 and 4, which I actually liked more. But we can't just settle for the condensed version. The same with Marco Polo, which in that one's case is worse than the full-length story. But yeah, but we can definitely watch episode 3 on this release, and the full-length reconstructions on Dailymotion. Same with all the other missing episodes. And I'm afraid for the until we get to the arc, we're only going to be having reconstructions or either partly of missing episodes with surviving episodes there, like Galaxy 4, Dalek Master Plan, or completely reconstructed, like The Mythmakers, The Massacre, and of course, Mission to the Unknown. So, thank you for watching this review of Doctor Who and the Daleks. Daleks Invasion Earth 2150 AD will be coming at the other end of Season 3, with Dalek Mania following the entirety of the William Hartnell era after the 10th planet. Next up is Galaxy 4, starting off Season 3. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Nicholas Payne Retro YouTube channel. Okay. Excuse me. But definitely... Anyway, back... overall 4, which means we've got to start Season 3, so the next review will be, which in the other... Okay. Our scanners indicate that a... Hang on. We will... bugger it. Take 2. Action. Including the K9 time-lapse movie, which, as far as I can concerned,